Shalom, Akim. I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachachadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who teach and rule well, and say, takes to all the Akim in all four corners of earth who's pushing his truth and sincerity. Shalom, Akim. Yeah, I want to get into this, some information I found out about a day or two ago. I always knew about Jack Johnson, and I always knew how, these devils were coming down hard on him. And Earl Ray Jones got a good movie on him, and he portrays him. And and there's other movies of Jack Johnson too as well, but the Earl Jones one is a good one. That was a damn good one, and it showed you just how Esau was just very jealous of us, and he wanted to keep that iron fist on us, and he kept trying to control us, and he couldn't. But Jack was rebellious, and he was just defying all odds. Quick part of Jack's life, one part of his life, he had they banned him here in America, so he left here in America and went over to Europe and started doing this thing over in Europe, and he was just whooping all the European boxers. They had all sorts of guys that were just trying to come up against him. He was just slaying them, and America got mad at him, and they got in touch with the European Commission and stripped him over there. And I just remember at one point in this movie, he was doing goofy acting just to make money, man. But it was also showing you how much hatred towards this man was, and because it was a black man that was just whipping all these white people, plain and simple, And this gym guy who had retired, but he wasn't that far in the retirement, but they called this like one of the greatest fights of the decade or whatever. And this Jim Jeffries was the Great White Hope. So when they talk about the Great White Hope, that was Jim Jeffries. I thought it was some other guys, but this was him. It says, let me give you a little backdrop, because it's the Johnson-Jeffrey riots, were a series of deadly nationwide race riots on July 4th and July 5th, 1910, sparked by African-American boxer Jack Johnson's 15th round knockout of white former champ James Jeffries. Now, real fast, they had a little clip of that, and as a lot of the things, and this was in the movie, they spoke about this, as well as another couple fights that he had, that they all of a sudden they burned the clip at the end. They didn't want to see the white man going down, so they burned the clip. So Jack, you don't have real footage of him, doing it, but Jack said throughout the fight that he was just keeping him alive during the fight. Like, he could have really put him down early in the fight, but he was just keeping him up. You know what I'm saying? Just kept him going. And I've heard that numerous of times, But, yeah, so it says, Jeffries that came out of retirement as Great White Hope to reclaim the title, and his defense, his defeat ignited violence in dozens of cities, leaving over 20 people dead. So, while you're out there celebrating your 4th of July, just think about that, man. These devils have always throughout history found some type of reason to, ignite a switch and just go all off on you, And this here's another key point to it. The fight of the century, held in Reno, Nevada, on July 4th, 1910, scattered the racial barriers of the Arab, provoked widespread reactions across the country. That's not what I wanted. Okay, here, the violence in the cities including New York, Washington, D.C., and St. Louis. He says that the backlash of Johnson doing this and just defying all odds was the Mann Act. So you have race riots that came in. He defied them by beating Esau. Then they came out with these race riots to try to spook Jake, because they was like, man, look, man, we can't have these niggas knowing they could whoop us at any time, so we got to go put some fear in their heart. You know what I'm saying? Then the next year, that's when they came out with the Mann Act, man. A few years down the road, they come out with the Mann Act, man. That's just... This devil hates you with an everlasting hate, man. Yeah, he truly hates you, man. But like I say, man, the man went over to Europe, tried to escape, thought he could escape the racist grips of America, but America's racist grips were all on him, man. And on top of that, You know, uh, he was still just laying these Edomites down, man, everywhere he went, man. But this plant, just the point is that because a lot of Jake think that just because they could leave America, they could go over to Russia, they could go over to different parts of Europe, and racism isn't over there. That's a lie, man. Wherever Esau's tentacles are, that's where his evil, plan is gonna be. Micah 2:10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. And even though my man Jack Johnson was like one of the richest dudes as far as athletes around the time, he was still took his money. Esau has different ways. He has how did he get his? I want to say that they hit him with taxes and shit, man. You got government way to come get your money, man. And once again, you got to remember, under this devil system, you have to play under his rules. And Jack Johnson was not playing under Esau's rules, man. He was doing his own thing. He was dating Edomite women. He was putting it in their face. Now dating Edomite women, he was dating multiple Edomite women. So he wasn't playing no games, man. One of his great quotes, he had, because there was a bunch of Jake boxers that wanted to box him, but he said he wasn't put here to fight black fighters. He was here to crush the white man. So, I always rooted for Jack, man. And it's, these people, they set out, man. It don't matter, man. It don't matter where Jack went, man, in the world, man. Esau's evil tentacles on him. And just like how people are out here celebrating, our people are out here celebrating these different holidays and stuff, especially this 4th of July, which, as a kid growing up, you're all into the fireworks and everything. But, once you get some knowledge and you start learning, we were still in bondage. We were still doing hardcore labor, back in the day when Washington and talking about that 4th of July shit, man. Whenever Esau brings it up, man, always keep in mind, man, And then you got this one guy, he calls 4th of July White History Month. And, it can't be, it makes sense, Why is that? Because these devils like to lie about their war accomplishments and things of that nature, man, Psalm 37:1, a Psalm of David, free not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, man. So we're not envious of these evil people, man. Jake sees how, he could have some money, Esau could just come take it through different laws and different ways, man. This is the devil's system we're living in, man. He says, Psalm 37:2, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass, and wither as the green herb. Trust in the Lord and do good. So shall thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed, man. And that's the name of the game, man. We gotta trust in the Lord, man. Because trusting in this system like our people do, man, they're doomed, man. They're doomed. They're doomed for the destruction that's coming to this place, man. Especially just believing full-hearted into this place in the system, man. We have multiple stories throughout history that we could pull up that shows you how much this devil will hate you, and in time coming that he's gonna come down with great wrath on you. They had those devils. They had a march on Washington on the 4th of July. Them Edomites were all in them. They had their white boy Pooh Shiesty masks on, man, marching. They were marching. Now, they get on the cell phone. They record our phone calls, but these dudes could just march around in these masks and get away with these type of things, man. This place is doomed, man. And Jake wants to run around and act like he don't know what the hell going on, man. While these devils are they're forming groups and militias together. They're practicing, man. You go to these rural countries and rural areas in the United States, and I said countries, I meant states, and they're out there practicing. They're out there. They got their women out there. They got their kids out there. This is a lifestyle. There was a show that came on 20 years ago in the early 2000s. A combat, a survival show. And it was showing you how the different families and different Edomites were preparing and building bunkers and these things of this nature, man. And it was ranking them and scoring them, man. So the mindset of survival has always been on them. You know, it's just you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. This mindset is just on gangbanging and follies and bullshit, man. While your enemy is prepared, man. Hey, yeah, and you know, like I say, our enemy is preparing. You know, and who's here to protect us? Who's gonna help us, man? You know, if you're not seeking the Lord, you're gonna be a part of those troubles, man. That's coming down the road, man. Plain and simple, man. You know, this is 1 Peter 2:9. It says, "But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who have called you out of darkness into his marvelous light." You know, and that's our job. We're warning our people. You know, it was to implement things that are coming down the road, man. You know, and the Lord has given us this beautiful gift of discernment, man. This beautiful gift of being able to break down the scriptures to understand, you know, and give you the word, you know, because Reverend Pigfeet is not gonna give it to you. Going to the Holy Quran is not gonna give it to you, man. You know, going to Buddha is not gonna give it to you. These different other things that have no power, they're not gonna help you when the time's coming, man. You know. Yeah, I just wanted to bring this out, man. You know, about this 4th of July holiday and how, you know, Jack Johnson, uh, a thorn on the Edomite side around that time, especially around that time, just think about things that's going on, man. Because our people, they need help, man. They're stuck in the folly, and then some of them they don't know how to lie. It's just madness all around us, man. You know. But yeah, man. With that being said, I hope this is edifying. Shalom, Maki.